Okay, so we will start now with the session. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much for connecting to this informative session about what the call for cultural and creative business proposals launched in the framework of the CREACT4MED project in the month of July. So CREACT4MED, as most of you will know, is a project funded by the European Union, which aims to strengthen businesses within the cultural and creative industries in the Southern Mediterranean region by providing creative entrepreneurs with skills, connections, technical support services, and funding to support them in developing their projects. This project, CREACT4MED, is led by EMEA, the Euro-Mediterranean Economists Association, which is an independent research institution and forum of debate based in Barcelona that provides innovative thinking and political, socioeconomic, and financial integrated analysis on the Euro-Mediterranean region and Africa. EMEA strives to contribute to the transition process in the Mediterranean and Africa amidst unprecedented global financial and economic crisis and geopolitical uncertainties. So my name is Maria Ruiz de Costillo. I am project manager for the CREACT4MED project in EMEA. Today, together with our colleague Giulia Di Monopoli from the European Institute of the Mediterranean, we will provide you with a presentation of the call for cultural and creative business proposals launched under the framework of CREACT4MED. We will start with a brief presentation of the project and of this call for proposals and its main features, and then we will go for some practical instructions on how to complete the application documents and submit your application. This session is recorded, as you can see, and it will be uploaded to the page of the project together with all the materials that we will be using today. If you have any questions, you are invited to share them in the chat here. We will be answering them after each of the sessions, and also at the end of this info session, we will have some minutes for questions and answers. So thank you very much for joining us today here for this informative session. Without further ado, I would like to invite Giulia Di Monopoli to share her presentation on the project and the main features of the call for proposals. Again, we will be happy to have your questions here. The session will be conducted in English, but all the materials are also available in French, and you may also ask your questions in French in the chat. Yeah, Christina, if you want to add something else in French.
Oui, bonjour à tout le monde. Donc, je vais juste faire la petite introduction en français. Donc, en fait, Maria, donc, c'est la project manager de Lead Partner, donc EMEA. Elle va faire la présentation en anglais, mais tous les matériels que vous aurez sur le site web et même pendant toute la présentation, vous l'aurez aussi en français, d'accord? Donc, si jamais vous avez besoin de poser des questions, vous pouvez les poser même en français qu'en anglais. On va vous les répondre. D'accord. Aussi, Giulia Di Monopoli de l'IMED, un de partenaires aussi du projet, va faire la présentation en anglais. Mais comme je dis tout à l'heure, vous aurez les diapositives de PowerPoint en anglais et en français. D'accord. Merci beaucoup.
Okay, so thank you, Maria and Cristina, for your introduction. As you introduced me, I'm Giulia Di Monopoli, and I work at the European Institute of the Mediterranean based in Barcelona. We are, together with EMEA, partners of the CREACT4MED project. Today I'm gonna explain you the main features of the call for creative and cultural business proposal that we recently launched and that you might be interested to apply to. As Christina said, I will be speaking English, but my presentation, as you will see, is in both languages, both English and French. The presentation will be made available on the website, so you will be able to download it and to have it as a helpful tool for your application process. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, we can.
Thank you. So, as Maria said, we are here today in the framework of the CREACT4MED project, which is a European funded project coordinated by the Euro-Mediterranean Economists Association. So our target is basically the Southern Mediterranean. In fact, we work with countries of the Southern Mediterranean, meaning Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, and Tunisia. And we specifically target the cultural and creative industries. So as macro category, we have arts and culture, design and media, and then all the subsectors, let's say, that you can see here in this slide. So this is our target. And as per our activities, we want to create an impact in the Southern Mediterranean region and the specific sector, basically organizing three main type of activities: training, subgranting, and advocacy and engagement. So having in mind this geographical target and the sector target, we want to promote activities that are aimed at like skill building activities for our targets. So supporting them in terms of knowledge and expertise, but also in terms of funding to their projects. And all this strategy and all these activities are basically aimed at also creating synergies with other partners and among the beneficiaries that we are targeting in the two shores of the Mediterranean. So meaning not only the Southern Mediterranean, but also the European part of the Mediterranean itself. The final goal of the project is basically to create a hub that will include both shores of the Mediterranean and will facilitate like networking, exchange of ideas and synergies among the different actors, both in terms of policymakers, entrepreneurs for sure, business support organizations and civil society, NGOs. So a broad target for our goal on having a cultural and creative hub in the Mediterranean. So in the framework of the CREACT4MED project, as I said, one of our main activities is providing granting to projects that are innovative, that fits our target, both in terms of countries and in terms of sectors. So this call was recently launched, the call for cultural and creative business proposal with an overall budget of 360,000 euros. We are going to fund project for a maximum of 50,000 euro per project. The total project that will be funded will be for project per country, per target country. So with this specific activity, we are targeting SMEs and startups that, of course, are in our target. So meaning that they have to be active in the cultural and creative industry. So the sector and subsector that I showed you in the previous slide, and they need to be officially registered after 2012 in one of our target countries. So as I said, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, and Tunisia. I know that the official registration might be a tricky requirement for some of the projects, but this is a mandatory requirement that we have from the European Commission. So in case you have a project, you have a company or a startup, and you are based in one of our target country, but you are not registered, you can still apply to the call, but you have to commit to register at least like within 30 days following the announcement of the successful selection of your project. So you can still apply if you're not registered, but you need to be registered to start activities and to have funds from the project. So this is the general target we are trying to involve in this call. Then the call itself has specific priorities that must guide your project proposals. So with your project, you can target one of these three priorities that you see here. So innovation or digitalization. So whatever project in the cultural and creative sector in the target countries that includes also elements of innovation and digitalizations. You can also target social inclusion and job creation, in particular as a as actually a specific target of our project, we want to create impact on young people, meaning people under 35 and women. So a proposal that includes these features, let's say, will fit our goal. Another priority that we include in this goal is internationalization. So if you have a project or an activity, a company, and you want to export your services and products, this is also a suitable proposal. When elaborating your proposal for the goal, you can either target just one of these priority or more than one. So meaning the 3 of them, for example, or 2 of them, or just one of them. This will fit our criteria. So, okay. If you have a proposal that is in line with our targets and our priority, you can propose your project. Basically, have in mind that we are going to fund 2 main type of actions. So the launch of new products or services, meaning that you have a project idea or a company, a startup that is really early stage, so that it's about or has just started having this product or service on the market. Or you can also expand a product service that you commercialize, meaning that you are still at an early stage, but not at the very beginning of your business journey. So there is room for both type of applicants. The ones that are still have a really new product or services, and the ones that are already on the market. So if your proposal will be successful, we will offer you different types of supports. Of course, as I said, we are going to offer you a sub-grant of up to 15,000 euro, so meaning direct money that you are going to receive from the project. Furthermore, you'll be also working with the support of with the technical support of local incubators that we selected in the framework of the CREACT4MED project. We selected 1 incubator per target country. So here you have the links to the specific country call for each of the countries, and here you have the specific information of the about the incubator, the business support organization that is going to work with successful projects. Then, of course, like being involved in the CREACT4MED activities and being a beneficiary of the CREACT4MED activities also means having access to an international hub, an international network of people of the Mediterranean region and the CCI sector. So you will be invited to networking events where an international audience will be at your disposal for further support your idea, your business. And then, of course, we will give you visibility in terms of being featured on our website, being present at our events, and other initiatives that will be developed in the framework of the project. So, as I said, this was a general introduction to the call. And the main idea that we want to tackle, the main target that we have in mind. Then, of course, to be eligible, you have to fit some also, let's say, technical requirements that are mandatory for applying to this call. So, as I said, you have to be a startup or an SME that is registering one of the target country after 2012. So for the specific definition of what a startup and an SME is, you should refer to the national law of your country, because it might vary from country to country. This information is included in the country codes that I just mentioned to you. So there are on our website, you can find them here at this link. On our website, there are documents specifically for each one of our target countries. And here you have the information of what is a startup or an SME is according to the national law of the specific country. Then again, you don't have to exceed the minimum threshold of 200,000 euro, which is mandatory by the European Union, which means you cannot have received in the last 2 fiscal years more than 200,000 euros by any state body, agency of department or European Union, because this would make you not eligible for this call. Then applicants must register to the CREACT4MED community platform. This is another tool that we give to our beneficiaries, to the people we work with, to foment, let's say, to encourage networking. It's a really easy platform, but if you have any problem in registering, there is a sign up guide that you can download, and it's really simple. We'll explain to you each step of the registration process. Then the applicant that will propose a project under this call must be the direct responsible for the implementation of the action, which means you cannot work as an intermediary, as a consultants agency for a third party. You have to be the main startup or SMEs developing the activities that you are proposing under this call. And then, of course, you don't have to be in a situation of early detention or exclusion according to financial regulation of the European Union. The specific details of what is an exclusion situation are both in the guidelines for application, the application form. So you will be able to go through them and see if you're eligible or not. So also the kind of activities that you are going to propose under this call must follow some rules, let's say. So you can propose project with an overall duration of up to 8 months. So for example, a project that will last 1 year is not eligible because the maximum duration is 8 months. As I said, you also need to tackle at least one of the priorities of the calls, which were digitalization, internationalization, and social inclusion. So one of these priorities at least must be at the core of your proposal. And also you have to respect one of the main types of funded action. So meaning you either have a totally new product or service that you want to launch, or you want to expand an already existing product or services. Then, as I said, you need to work, let's say, to be active in one of our target countries: Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, or Tunisia. And also the activities that you are gonna implement it under this call must be developed there, having a direct impact in these specific countries. Then, of course, if it makes sense for the specific kind of proposal that you are submitting to have actually implemented also, but not only, in other Southern Mediterranean countries or European countries, because, for example, you want to export your product to Europe, this is still eligible. But the main focus and the main impact must be in our target country in the Southern Mediterranean. Then Maria will show to you also the application form, the documents that you need to fill up, and you will see that there is a specific part dedicated to risk assessment and mitigation strategies, and also a specific part of monitoring and impact assessment, which means you should be able to predict possible situation context that might put your activity at risk. For example, just a classic example of the last 2 years, coronavirus. And you also need to be able to come up with mitigation strategy. So if there will be a new wave of coronavirus, for example, you should be able to identify some strategy to mitigate, to have a not so severe impact on your activities. And then, of course, you need to propose a strategy how to monitor and assess the impact that you have according to the objectives, to the goals of your proposal, and identify how you will actually monitor this impact. So these are the type of actions that are eligible, that you have to propose in the framework of this call. Then there are some actions that are not eligible. If you will include these actions, your proposal, they cannot be funded. So for example, you cannot propose something that is already finished, that has been already completed. You cannot receive funding for action that already started before you get the specific sub-grant under the CREACT4MED call for business proposal. You cannot receive double funding by the European Union, which means if you are already in European project with the very same action and activities, you cannot receive money for twice for the same activity that you are doing. You cannot use our budget to purchase big infrastructure equipment. If you want to buy, I don't know, an apartment for being your office, this won't be eligible for us. And of course, we will not fund any action or activities discriminating any kind of person or group of ethnic group for any reason, which might be race, color, religion, gender, disability, marital status, or sexual orientation. This is not eligible for us. This won't be funded, won't receive money. So then you will see in the application document that we designed this call in the form of a unique cost and output-based code format, let's say, which means that we identified some categories of budget that you can ask for, that are basically human resource, equipment and raw materials, training and consultant services, other direct costs, for example, utilities or whatever is not included in the other categories, and travels. So Maria will also present this to you, but you will find all the information in the application documents. You will have a maximum amount of money under each of these categories that you can ask for. And in the design of your action, you will be linked activities to specific outputs that need specific budget. If you develop the activity and reach the output, you will have the money. So the amount of money that we are going to give you is directly related to the fact that you have to comply with the output that you identified, that you wrote in the project proposal. So if no output, if no progress is made by your project, no money will be paid to you. And of course, if you need to be able to justify this cost. For example, if you ask budget for traveling from Cairo to Barcelona, we need to have your flight tickets, your accommodation receipt, your invoices related to this specific cost. So we need, in order to give you money, we need these two very important things. You have to achieve the goal that is related to this specific budget, and you must provide us with a justification of how you use the money. If you comply with these mandatory requirements, we will pay to you the amount of the sub-grant. Of course, we know that the target country do not use euro. So for converting from your national currency to euro, there is a website by the European Union that you must use, because this is the official conversion rate that we will be using for paying money to you. And it's really easy. You can just enter the website and it's really self-explaining. And you have the possibility inside the website to decide which conversion rate to use, and you need to use the conversion rate of the months when you send your application, which means August 2023. So once you design activities, a project proposal that fits all the requirements that I just explained to you, then you will be able to submit your proposal. So first of all, as I said, you need to register to our platform, which will help you applying for the goal, but also if you are not selected or if you are selected in the future, you can still access the platform and having access to the CREACT4MED network, let's say. And here again, you have a sign-up guide that you can consult in case of any technical problem with the platform. Then, as I mentioned, and Maria gonna show to you the example of these documents, you need to fill out the application form and the proposal outline, which are documents where basically you explain who you are, what you want to do, how many money you need, and what you want to achieve. And then in the very same documents, in the application form and proposal outline, you will find also a declaration of honor, which basically tells us that you commit to realize the activity that you are proposing and that you are able to do so in financial terms and management capacity terms. And then the de minimis self-declaration, when you actually state that you did not exceed, did not go beyond this 200,000 euro threshold that I just mentioned before. All the documents that you will send to us need to be signed. And there are only two ways we will accept this signature. Either if it's handmade, so you sign by a pen, then you scan the document and send to us, or if it's an official digital signature, which means not a photo of your signature, not something that you write on your tablet, but something that is certified, digitally certified. We will accept just this kind of signatures. You can submit your proposal either in English or French, but be aware that you need to know English in order to receive this money, because we will communicate with you in English. The event that we are going to do will be in English. The official documents will be in English. So you can submit your proposal in French, but be aware that you need to know English and to be able to communicate in English in order to actually implement the project you're proposing. All the documents, I will tell you in a couple of slides where you can download all the documents. Once you have them, you sign them in the proper way, you can just email them to this email address, creact4med@euromedeconomists.org by the 24th of August at 6 p.m. in the Central European summertime. So any application sent beyond this date won't be eligible because it's after the deadline. So once we will receive your proposal, of course, we are going to evaluate them to decide who is going to actually receive this subgrant. So we have different criteria that we are going to use. The evaluation will be made by an evaluation committee that will be composed by the project partners, so including us and IMEA, for example, the 6 local incubators, business support organization that you will be working with, and independent experts. So there will be different steps in the evaluation process. Basically, the first one is going to be an administrative check, meaning that we will have a look at your proposal, having in mind, for example, checking if you properly sign it, if you are registered, or if you commit to register, if the activities are implemented in our target countries. So all these administrative checks that basically refer to what is written in the guidelines for application. And of course, the proposal that won't respect this criteria will be excluded automatically because are not eligible. Then once your proposal passed the administrative check, we are gonna evaluate the quality and the design of your application, meaning if what you're proposing makes sense, if it's something feasible that you can actually achieve. How we will evaluate this quality, your profile. So if from the financial and management point of view, you will be able to implement what you're proposing. If your proposal is actually in line with the project, with our target sector, priorities, and so on, and if it's feasible to actually implement it, and if it's cost effectiveness. it means that if the budget you are asking makes sense for the type of action you're proposing. So if you're asking 15,000 euro for, I don't know, for just having a couple of posts on Facebook, this is not cost effective. So the 10 best proposal per country, meaning 60 projects in total, will pass this second step and will go to the third step of evaluation, which is an online local pitch competition. And this is the most important part of your application, because it makes the total score for the 60%. So you will be asked to join online this pitch session where you will present your startup or your SMEs and your project. The same evaluation committee is going to evaluate you, and we are going to use as our criteria your go-to-market strategy, the use of the money that we are going to give to you, then the impact that you will have on the specific target of your project, and the way you pitch it, the way you talk. The 24 best proposal of the pitch will get the money, basically. So we are going to fund, as I said, 4 projects per country. The total score, as I said, will be made up by the 40% of what you wrote in your application, and then the 60% of you explaining it during the pitch. So both parts are really important, but if you are selected for the pitch, is there where you will we will decide if funding or not your proposal. So if you go to the pitch, make sure to actually prepare it properly, because it is an important part of the final score. So once the selection process is finished, and we select it, you will be selected, your project will be selected. So you there are some obligation that you need to fulfill in order to implement your action. Of course, you don't have to be in any conflict of interest, meaning that the action that you are doing are not in conflict with your company's mission or your personal interests, let's say. Of course, as I said, we are not funding anything that will discriminate some person. So you have to respect human rights, environmental legislation, all the legislation of your country. Of course, you have to commit it to no sexual harassment or abuse. You have to commit to anti-corruption, anti-bribery. And then there are other technical administrative requirements made by the European Union that are, for example, the need to give visibility to EU funding. Whatever action you are going to do, starting from a post on a social media to an agenda of an event that you are going to organize, to a presentation, publication, whatever you are going to do must show the logo of the European Union and the logo of the project, the CREACT4MED project. This is mandatory. Otherwise, for us, the specific things that you are doing doesn't exist, because it's not giving visibility to the fact that the European Union is paying for it. Then you will be requested to keep a copy of all the documents related to your project, which means reports, invoices, timesheets, any documents. I mentioned, for example, flying tickets. You have to keep a copy of this for at least 7 years after the end of your project. This is mandatory because the European Union, within these 7 years, can ask us, so ask you as well, to justify, to see where the money went. So you will be able, you must be able to give a justification of how you spend the money. Even if your project is funded, and at some point of the project, we notice that you are not respecting one of these obligations, we might decide not to give you money. So this is really important to commit to all these obligations, because the fact that you will be receiving money depends on this as well. Okay, so again, if you are one of the successful proposal, you will receive, of course, this sub-grant. As we said, this is output based. It means you identify an action, you identify a goal, a target that you want to reach, and only if you reach this goal, this output, you will be paid. And this is possible because we are not going to give you money like the 50,000 euro in one time. We are going to split, to divide the payment. You will receive an initial pre-financing payment of the 20% of the overall amount that is funded for your project within the first months after the assignment of this grant agreement. Then there will be some meetings that you will have with us, with the project, the CREACT4MED project, where we'll draft monitoring reports, basically saying what are the progress of your activity in terms of activity, outputs, and indicators. And then at the middle of your project, so for a project of 8 months, at the first months of your project, you will be asked to give to us an interim progress report. So once we receive this interim progress report and that we see that you implemented the action that you committed to, that you reach your goal, that you gave justification to the cost that you underwent, we are going to pay you 40% of the total grant. This will happen just after that we read the interim progress report and we say that is actually complying with the activities and with the achievement, the goals that you stated in your proposal. Then at the end of your project, so meaning after 8 months for project funded for the maximum implementation period, you will be asked to produce a final report. Basically, talking about what you did from the day 1 of the project until the end in terms of activities, what you achieved, and so on. And this will be made by a technical report on activities and financial report. So how you spend the money, basically. This must be submitted maximum 15 days, 2 weeks after the official end of the project. You will have a template for this report. And once you give to us, we are going to read it. We are going to see if it's actually complying with what we asked to you to do, if it's in line with the outputs that you want to reach. And if it complies the criteria, you will receive the last part of your payment, so the remaining part of your payment. So to apply for this, to apply to this call, basically what you have to do is go into our web page. You have the link here. Here you have all the documents. I'm going to show you specifically which documents I'm referring to in the next slide. So make sure to read everything that is on this page. Here you can also find the templates for reporting, for the application form itself, for all the declaration that you might provide. So first of all, you have to focus on the application form and proposal outline. This is the main document. You need to carefully fill it and sign it, as I said, either manually or digitally. Then you have to attach some documents to this application form, which are mandatory. You have to attach them. So there is a declaration of honor, which is part, by the way, you will find when you download the application form, you will already find a template for the declaration of honor. You should submit at the minimum self-declaration. The registration documents, as I said, you have to demonstrate that you are registered either in Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Tunisia, or Palestine after 2012. Or if you are not registered, you can submit a declaration of commitment to register your company within 1 month after the award of the sub-grant. This is mandatory. These documents must be sent to us, otherwise you are not eligible. Then there are some optional documents that you can also attach. It doesn't make any difference if you have it or not. Of course, if you have it, it will have a positive impact. We will evaluate them, but it's not mandatory. If you don't have any of these documents, it's not a problem. You can still apply, you can still receive the money. So I'm referring to the business model canvas or pitch deck of your company, in particular for these projects that are these products or services that are already in the market. Then, of course, for us, it's important if you are able in terms of skills and capacity to manage a grant. So if you participate in any training, capacity building activity, or any relevant program for grant management, just attach a certification, because this is something that will be evaluating in a positive way. Then also, this is not mandatory, but if you are already in contact with some association, NGO, company, also like government agency, and you have an agreement with them, a memorandum of understanding, or even a really simple agreement stating that you are going to collaborate with them, this is really welcome, because thanks to this, we can see that you are bound to have an impact on your territory. Once you have all these documents, at least the application form, proposal outline, and the mandatory attachment, you just mail everything, as I say, to this email address, creact4med@euromedeconomist.org by the 24th of August at 6 p.m. Central Europe summer time. Everything sent after this day, after this time, is not eligible. Then here, as I said, this slide is going to be on the website, so you can download them. And here you have a sum up of all the documents that are relevant for this call. Some of the documents are in English and in French, some of them are just in English. So this is the most important things that you need to read. Everything that is written here is really important for your application, because if you don't comply with the guidelines, you are not eligible. You have it in English, you have it in French. So download them, read them. If you have any doubt, email us, but be sure to take them into account. Then there is the application form and proposal outline, which is basically what you have to fill and to send to us to explain what you're proposing. And this is also in English or French. Again, you can apply, you can submit your proposal in French, but remember that you need to be able to communicate in English to implement your action. Then there is a document, it's a very short document that explains to you in details how to fill the application form, like each part of the application form, or the most tricky one. So here you will find the description how to fill them. It's in English and in French again. Then I didn't mention it, but this is how the European grants work. If you are selected, you will be asked to sign a contract, which is called sub-grant agreement. You will sign this contract with EMEA, and it's legally binding. What is written there, you have to comply on it. There is a template of this contract that will be sent to you. You can have a look at it in advance, so to more or less have an idea what will be asking to you once you will be awarded, you will win the sub-grant. As I mentioned, then we have also documents that are specific for each of our target country: Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, Tunisia. And here you can find also the details and the contacts of the business support organization that is gonna be working with successful proposal. Again, these documents are in English, are short documents, really self-explaining. You can download from our web page. Then you have also the reporting template, which is in English. And this is a document that will be used just by the companies that are going to receive the money. But if you want to have an idea more or less of what we are going to ask to you in terms of reporting, you can download the documents even before the application. As I said, one of the requirements for applying to this call is registering to the CREACT4MED platform. if you have any technical problem, you can download our sign up guide, and you will have a really visual explanation of each step of the registration to the CREACT4MED platform. So just to have an idea of the timeline, the call is already open, was launched last week. You have time to ask any question by mail to the very same email you will be sending your application to until August 14th. After this date, we cannot guarantee to you that we can answer your questions. Then you have time to send your proposal until August 24th. After August 24th, we are going to evaluate the proposal, and we are going to select, as I said, 60 proposals. These 60 proposals will be invited to pitch. The pitch session is going to happen from more or less 26th of September to 7th of October. So you have to be sure if you're selected to be able to participate to the pitch in this period. And then 1 week after the pitch session, we will inform applicants of the winning proposal, basically. So once, and if you get funded, if your application is successful, you will sign, as I mentioned, the sub-grant agreement. Once signed the sub-grant agreement, you can start your activities. So basically, this is what I wanted to share with you. If you have any question, you can write them in the chat. I'm gonna have a look at them now. And again, also, if you have any question that you don't want to ask today or that might occur to you in the following days, you can just email us and we will get back to you at least before August 14th. So don't worry, if you have any question, we are here to support you. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Julia, for this comprehensive presentation of the call for proposals. I see that we have several questions in the chat. I suggest, in the interest of time, to continue with the presentation. I will now proceed with the practical instructions on how to complete the application documents. You can keep dropping your questions there in the chat, and at the end of my presentation, we will proceed to answer to all of your questions, okay? Please don't hesitate to ask anything you want. So I will also share my screen. I will do this in the most practical manner, so I will just guide you throughout the whole process for this call. So this is the CREACT4MED webpage. It is creativemediterranean.org, as introduced by Julia before. The call documents and all the information about this call is available here. So we have the calls and tenders tab. And here under active tabs, we have the call for cultural and creative business proposals. So you can always find this page here in case you can locate it in your emails or something like that. So here you have the basic information about the call and the application process, which Julia already described. And here are all the documents that Julia was just presenting a couple of minutes ago. So basically, as already introduced by Julia, the first step to apply to this call for sub-grants would be to register to the CREACT4MED community platform. This is a mandatory requirement in order to be eligible to receive the sub-grant. So I will just go to the page in 1 second, sorry, because let me. Okay, so here is the platform. You can sign in, you have the guidelines on how to sign in the page, but you can do it here. So basically you would go here to register. And here you have, as indicated here, this is a two-step procedure. So first of all, you would sign up as a member, which is to complete this form here. Then we will approve your profile. This has to be done manually. And then you will be able to add your organization by clicking on this button on the top right corner of the screen. So basically, this is how you register to this platform of CREACT4MED. I will do it like this. Okay. So then once you're registered in the CREACT4MED community platform, you should go here to these pages. I suggest that you start by downloading the 3 key documents, which are the guidelines for applicants. This is really the most important document. It contains all the information about the call for sub-grants, the priorities, the type of activities that will be funded, and so on. So here you have all the details about what Julia was explaining before. Then it's also very interesting that you download this document here, which are some practical indications on how to complete the proposal outline, which I will be showing you now. So here you have these practical indications. You have the definitions of the different questions that we're asking you, and also some examples on how to complete these sections. And also you have indications on how to prepare your budget. So here you have the maximum rates for human resources. Here you have the maximum values that you can ask for equipment and raw materials, for example, also for training and consulting services. We really encourage to read this document very carefully in order to prepare the proposal outline as required, since this is like the proposal outline in the end is the basis of the evaluation criteria. So it will be very important that this document is completed in a proper way. So without further ado, I will just go to the application form. It's right here. I will complete it in English. Well, I will do it in English with you. So here we have the application document. Mainly, applicants are required to submit with their proposal this document, which is the application form and the proposal outline. It also contains, in the last pages, as you will see, it also contains the declaration of honor on exclusion criteria and selection criteria, and also the form to complete the minimis self-declaration. So here we have most of the documents that have to be submitted. And apart from this document, applicants only need to submit the registration document in case they are registered. Otherwise, they will have to sign a declaration, which is within this document I will show you now. So mainly the application form starts here. It starts with some basic information, some basic questions about the contact person for this proposal, also the name of the company that is applying for the grant, the sector that this company is active in. So here you have the sectors that are eligible, which are also available in the guidelines for applicants, and the country where the company is based. So here mainly you would just like type the name of the company, for example, just above the text in blue. And here also you just have to mark with an X the country where your company is based. Then here we have some questions about the business model of your company. So it starts with your value proposition. This is a short statement that communicates why buyers should choose your products or services. For example, let's say your value proposition could be, for example, our company offers a one-stop shop for any for any of your graphic design needs. It's just a sentence. Limited orders and revisions for one flat monthly fee. So basically, it's just a sentence describing in 4 lines, what it is that you do in your company and why buyers should get your products. Then here we ask for a brief explanation of the unmet need that your company is addressing. So mainly, how did you identify this need? Who has this need? What is the size of the need? So how many people are affected by this unmet need in the market, and so on. Then you would describe what is the target market, so which is the specific group of people, of consumers that your product is addressing, your product or service is addressing. For example, this could be adults with low to moderate income that want to enjoy fast food, or young music fans that enjoy music festivals, and so on. It depends on which is the need that you're addressing and the solution that you're offering. So then we also ask for a short description of the solution that you offer, so the product or service that you are providing to your target group in order to address this unmet need that you identified. And also, what is your revenue model? So mainly, how are you getting income from this solution that you are offering? It can be a transaction-based model where you just get income from selling your product or service directly to the customers. It could be an ad-based revenue model where you are getting paid for the visits you get on your website, for the advertisement that you have there, and so on. So mainly a brief description of how you're getting the income. And then also a question about what are your current needs to move forward for your project. For example, you might need to protect your intellectual property against illegal copying or copyright infringements. What are the main needs that you have right now in order to advance with your project or in order to launch a new product or whatever is the objective of applying to this call for sub-grants. Then we also ask about the stage of development of your company. So is it in an idea stage? Is it have you already developed a prototype or a minimally viable product? Is it in growth stage? So you already have the business model and it's generating revenue already. Are you in the scale-up stage? This is your business ready to expand to new markets and so on. So here also you would be marking with an X. What is the stage of development of your company? Then with regards to the years active, we asked 2 questions. We asked, first of all, when was the year of foundation with this? We mean, when was the year that you started working on this initiative, on this company? It might be that you started working 3 years before you registered the company. It might be that you're still not registered, but you have been working on it for 2 years now. So mainly when did you start this activity? And then also if you are registered, if your company is officially registered, we ask you to for the year of registration of this company. Now we ask about the team. So we have some questions regarding the team of the applicant entity. First of all, we ask about the number of employees. So the total number of employees that are working for the applicant. Then yes, no question regarding the gender of the founder of the leader of the company. So is it led by a woman? And also is it led by a young person, which would be a person under 35 years old. Then we also ask about the number of women that are holding managerial positions in the company, in case there are, for example, a marketing director or a finance director, and how many of these people are women, and how many of these managers are young people, so people that are under 35 years old. Then we ask for some additional details about the managing team, only the managing team. So mainly what is the name and position of the person, what is their area of expertise, some key experiences or achievements, and also the qualifications of this person. So in terms of academic qualifications. Then here we have this question, which is mainly because there are some bonus points for people that have already participated in other CREACT4MED initiatives or in initiatives organized by the incubators that are collaborating with us. So mainly you have to indicate whether you have participated in the CREACT4MED Training Academy, which was held from May to July this year. If you participated in the Creative Hub Bootcamp organized by Nucleus Ventures in Lebanon, if you participated in Minas's incubation program and so on, you can mark this X and you will have to submit, in case you mark any of these X, you will have to submit the certificate of attendance to these courses. And also, in case you consider that you have not participated in any of these programs, but that you did participate in another one, which can be very useful for the implementation of this project, especially if it's a cultural and creative entrepreneurship course, for example, or if it's an arts management course, things like that, you are invited also to indicate which is the program that you have participated in, to provide a link to the page of this program, and finally to justify why this program is relevant for the implementation of your project proposal. And in case this explanation is reasonable, you will also be given bonus points for your participation in these courses. And then we also ask about the yearly profit that your company is generating. So it might not be generating any profits, so it might be experiencing some losses. In this case, you would have to tick this box here with an X. Otherwise, you have to select the box with that is in the range of your yearly profit. So then come the questions about the proposal, the specific questions about the proposal. First of all, we ask which one of the 3 priorities of the call, which of the 3 priorities of the call does this proposal respond to? You might tick more than one box, since the call is open for also to proposals that tackle more than one of these priorities. Then you should list the objectives of the proposal. These objectives should be linked to the question to this question here, where we ask about the current needs to move forward with your project. So we expect that you will be writing a proposal that is addressing your current needs. So we would like to see a link between the objectives of the proposal and the current needs of your company. Then we have the proposal summary. Here you can describe in up to 250 words your proposal to this call. So mainly we ask you to specify what exactly will your business do with the money in case it is awarded as a grant. It must include at least the methodology that you will use to address the objective, also the key activities that will be implemented, and what are the expected outputs of this action. Also, you can include how you will monitor the success of the project, how you will be, what will be the day-to-day tasks that will be implemented in order to achieve the project outputs. Then we also ask about the expected results and impact of your project. So mainly here it would be to describe the key impacts that your proposal will result in the medium and long term. These are not directly linked to the activities that you're implementing. These are some, this can be like direct or indirect from the action that you're implementing, and also intended or unintended. So maybe, for example, one of the impacts that you could be describing here could be your company will obtain the largest market share and become the industry leader in the next 4 years, for example. So these are things that you would like to achieve, that they are not really only under your control, but ideally this is what you would like to achieve. Or for example, our company will create at least 5 job positions in the next 2 years and 20 in the next 5 years. So this would be some ideas for this question here. Then we asked about the details of the people that will be actually working on the project. So before we asked about the managerial positions, but now we ask about the project managers or artists or whoever is within the staff of the entity that will be implementing this project. Mainly we ask what is the position of this person, what will be the role in the project, will a new position be created for this, will a new job be created for this position, meaning maybe it's someone that you don't have yet, but in case you are awarded as a grant, you will hire this person. So in this case, you would have to indicate here that yes, a new position will be created in order to have this person in the project. And also what will be the daily salary in the local currency. And here you have to calculate the average daily salary of these employees. This is to calculate that the rates given by the project are aligned with the rates paid by each of the applicant entities. So then here we ask about the collaborations with other stakeholders. So in case you expect to have any relevant collaborations, well, any key collaborations actually within the project with partners, with suppliers, with clients, with any stakeholders that are not part of the entity and that will have a key role in the achievement of the project outputs should be described here. So maybe you should say what is the name on the website of this collaborator, or a link to more information about the collaborator, and what would be their role within the project. And finally, here we ask about the next steps that will be taken to ensure the the medium and long-term financial sustainability of your business after the finalization of the grant. So mainly we ask, first we ask you what you will do with this money, and this final question asks about what will you do once you finalize the grant, once you already have achieved the project outputs, what will be your next steps then? So these are the written questions. And then here's the proposal outline that you have to complete. So mainly this document, as I was mentioning before, it's explained here how to complete it. You have quite detailed explanations on how to complete it here regarding what is a milestone, what is an activity, what is an output, what is a source of verification, and the different types of costs. I will now complete one of these just as an example, so you can see more or less what it is that we expect from this. So let's say, for example, that our first milestone is to have the product protected against illegal copying and copyright infringements. Okay, so let's say that your first milestone for the project is to have this your product protected against illegal copying and copyright infringements. So you would first divide this milestone here into the different activities that will lead to the achievement of the milestone. Okay, you can add more rows by clicking on the plus or by clicking on your secondary button and just adding new rows. So here in activity 1, for example, we could have the development or developing IP strategy. And we can say that this will happen from month 1 to month 2. Okay, here we would add an activity description. For example, we can say that the company that we will analyze, we will analyze the company's competitive advantage and barriers to entry, an audit of existing IP will be conducted. You should write here basically how you will be implementing this activity. We will identify IP gaps and collaborate with a law firm to create a plan for how to use and protect the IP, and that's it. The strategy will be finalized by month 2, for example. Okay, so here the main output of this activity would be, of course, the IP strategy, which would be developed, and we can say that this will happen by month 2. Here we would have to explain how you will allow the CREACT4MED consortium or the external or the expert group to verify that this output was indeed achieved. So, for example, you could say the IP strategy will be made available to the expert committee at the time of submission of the interim report, for example. So you have to describe how you will help us to really check that these outputs have been achieved and to evaluate the quality of the outputs. So this here would be the first activity. We could have a second activity. For example, it could be educating IP awareness among employees. And here the description. We could have another activity, which could be registering copyrights. Here you need to indicate the time frame for each of the activities. This is very important. Also to support to help with the monitoring afterwards. So this could be month 2, month 3. This could be month 3, month 4. And finally, we can have 1.4 signing confidentiality and licensing contracts with employees, partners, and developers, for example. And we could say that this will happen from month 2 to month 5, something like that. So here you have to define an output for each of the activities. So here, for example, the output would be to have 10 employees trained by month 3. Here the output could be copyright, submitted copyright application. And here the output could be 5 confidentiality and licensing agreements. Okay, so we would have defined the outputs for each of the activities, and as Julia mentioned several times before, in the end, this sub-grant is output-based. So basically, we will be evaluating that these outputs are achieved, so that you actually have the IP strategy developed, that it's verifiable, that we can read it and see that it is actually achieved. Also, that these 10 employees have actually received the training. You have to prove to us that this training was given to the employees. You can submit, for example, certificates of participation. You can submit a report summarizing the training topics and the lessons learned. Yeah, you can define which will be the sources of verification for each of the outputs. Month 4 and here, month 5. Okay, so as you can see, we don't need too much information here. Like this can be short sentences. Just the longest thing would be to describe how this activity will be implemented. But as you can see, we're not asking for very long descriptions of these activities either. We just want to know more or less what will be the methodology that will be used in order to achieve the project outputs, which are really like the key of the proposal. This here is what will define whether you get paid, whether this proposal is funded or not, because it will depend on the quality of the outputs proposed that the funding will be given. So then, once you have completed this technical part here, so this is for one milestone. You can add as many milestones as you want. So you might have different objectives. You can link one milestone for each of the objectives, or you can divide your proposal into different aspects. You can also have only one milestone. It's completely fine. This is open to you. What is important is that in the end you respect the maximum budget of 15,000 euros and that the rest of the guidelines are complied with as well. So here you have to create the budget for this proposal. So mainly I will copy this here. So the output one is here. The output is here. You would copy here all the outputs that you have written. The output 4, 3. And the output 4. So here you have to assign a cost to each of these outputs. So mainly, here you must provide a justification of how these costs have been calculated. Let me give you an example. For example, let's say for HR, for example, let's say that preparing this IP strategy will take one CEO times, let me see, times 5 days of dedication, for example. And they will be defining the strategy milestones and the key activities. And then we have one IP officer who will be working for 15 days on this strategy that will work on identifying the current IP and competitive advantages. They will also draft a strategy and so on. So here, let's say that this proposal is from Tunisia. You can check here. These are the maximum daily rates. So you cannot overcome these maximum daily rates. In fact, we asked you in the question from before, from the team that will be working on the implementation of this project, we ask you to give us what is the actual daily cost for your employees. So what is the average daily cost for the employees working in your entity? In case this daily cost is above the maximums available here, you should use these numbers. Otherwise, you should use the average daily cost in your company to ensure that there is no profit made from the grant. So here, let's say that the average daily cost is above this threshold, and we are talking about a company in Tunisia. So let's say that we are using the average daily rate of 40 euros per day. So here we would have 20 days times 40 euros per day. So it would be 8,000. Yeah. 8,000. Yeah, 800 euros for human resources. Then you can say, for example, that you will hire an attorney to support you in preparing this IP strategy. So we would have under consulting services, we would have one attorney will be hired to support the preparation of the IP strategy and the submission of the application for copyright registration. And and you should indicate how you have estimated the cost. So you can say, for example, costs have been estimated based on have been estimated objectively based on the goods received by 3 potential providers, something like that. So just so we can confirm how you have calculated this estimated cost. And here you would say, for example, 1,000 euros for this. So in total, the cost of this specific output would be 1,800 euros. And this is how we will assign the cost for each of the outputs. So in the end, an IP strategy is developed. It means that you get 1,800 euros. Then for the rest of the outputs, you should do exactly the same. So here you would also describe what are the HR costs. Here you would have probably the training provider costs. So who will be giving this training? You should ask for the quotes of these people to know more or less what is the cost that this will represent, and you should add this in the budget here. So this is the idea. We have prepared some examples for this, so we can upload them on the website as well. So you see an example of a completed proposal outline, but this would be the idea of how to fill in this document. Then down below, you will see here are the attachments that you have to submit. So mainly, the main document is this one that I've been showing, and also it's mandatory to submit the registration document, or the registration document in case your company is registered. Otherwise, you have to declare your commitment to register the company within the 30 days following the notification of the award of the sub-grant. So mainly here, if you are not registered yet, but you agree to register your company as soon as it is confirmed that you are receiving a sub-grant, you should tick this box here. And here is the signature of the signature page. So you have to sign this here. In case you are submitting a registration document now, which we highly recommend you, like if you have it, please submit it now, because otherwise it will take longer to sign the sub-grant agreement and so on. This is only in case you don't have it. So here you have to indicate which is the registry that you will register it in, and also which is the country. So we have this. Then we have the declaration of honor. Mainly in this document, you have to complete here the name of the person signing the declaration of honor. Then this is information about your company. So what is the full official name of the company? What is the official legal form of the company? What is the registration number of the company? What is the full official address of the company? And also the VIT registration number. Here in the registration number, in case you don't have it yet, you can indicate NA, and that's it. So here you should, of course, read all this declaration with all the indications of what you're agreeing to. And down below, in the last page of the document, you see here is the signature page. So you have to include the full name of the people signing this document, which should be the people with the right to act on behalf of the applicant entity. Then the date when this document is signed, and the signature, which, as Julia mentioned, it shouldn't be a picture of your signature. It should be either an original, like a signed and scanned document, or a document signed electronically through an official means. And then here you have the de minimis declaration for sub-grant applicants. Mainly here you have to indicate which is the company that is submitting this de minimis self-declaration. And then in case you have not received any contributions falling under the de minimis regulation, so mainly this is regarding the number of grants from public money that you have received. If you have not received any grants in the last 2 years, you can tick this box. And in case you have received any grants in the last 2 fiscal years, you have to indicate here which is the program that gave you this grant, which is the country that granted you this de minimis aid, which was the amount granted, and when was this money granted to you. So mainly, and here you have to indicate the total money received in the last 2 fiscal years. Then finally, you have to sign this either like both if you have not received any de minimis money, or if you did receive it, you have to sign the document. So please submit it signed and undated by the legal representative of your entity. So yeah, mainly here you have to include the name of the person signing, here the signature and the date. And this is all for the application document. So again, as already mentioned, apart from this document here, you have to submit the registration document if you have it. And also in case you have indicated in these questions here, in case you have ticked any of these boxes, you should submit a certificate of attendance to the course. So this is very important because otherwise you won't receive the bonus points that are given for this question. And I think this is mostly it. I will go now to the chat to see what are the questions and try to answer them as well as possible. I don't know, Julia, if we are missing any aspects. Otherwise, I will go straight for the questions.
No, I think your presentation was so comprehensive. Thank you for it. And maybe we can go through the questions.
Let's do it then. So I will start from the beginning and then I will go also to the answer questions just in case. So yeah, this is not a question. We will communicate by this chat only. Yes, you can only communicate via this chat.
So yeah, Maria, the first question, because it's already answered, so maybe you cannot see it, I will just read it. So, hello, I was not aware, is a question from Khalil. Hello, I was not aware 2012 was a date to take into consideration. Is it included? Started registering late 211, but officially created in January 2012.
So if the registration document indicates 2012, yeah, you would be eligible. If the registration document indicates 2011, that would make you ineligible, unfortunately. Okay, you feel free, feel free to say something else.
Sorry, Maria. No, I'm seeing that the rest of the questions now, I think you can see them all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Christina. Yeah, if you have any, if the person that submitted this question, if you want to clarify anything, you can send us an email directly to CREACT4MED@euromedeconomist.org. The link is available in the page where this code is published. In principle, that's it. So if the date is 2012, it is eligible. If it's before that, it's not eligible. Anyway, please feel free to share any further details and we will see with the sub-grant managing committee if there are any other options for you. So then regarding Sofiane Mehri asking, so will it take the form of reimbursement of costs? Kind of, not really. It's an output-based document. So in the end, what we will really take into consideration is that the outputs have been achieved. But in order to assess that there is no profit made from the action, that there is no double funding, so that the rules of this type of post for sub-grants are respected, we will be asking you for the supporting documents that verify that the money was used for the purposes that have been indicated in the proposal that you submitted. Then we have a capacity, this question is from an anonymous attendee. We have a capacity building program which was launched last year and consists of yearly trainings in collaboration with regional artists. The proposal would mainly be to gather funds for the new trainings next year. Is this considered as an activity that has already begun? Yeah, indeed. So this call for proposals must fund new activities. It would be, for example, if you added a new component, if there was a difference, like we will use this grant to create a new training module on this could be possible as long as it's new. But if it's something that you have already done, that the materials are already created and that all that you will do is to pay some invoices from your program that already existed with it, that is completely not eligible because this is not a new activity. Then, thank you for your answer. This is from Tawa Hawari. Thank you for your answer. Another question, can we ask only 5,000 euros instead of 15,000 euros? And is there any co-financing required from the applicants? Yeah, you can ask any values below the maximum of 15,000 euros. In fact, this is based on the output that you are proposing. As you have seen, you will prepare the budget based on the output. So if your output is only expected to cost 5,000 euros and you only want to do this, you can ask for this 5,000 euros. It might not be ideal because there will be proposals that are like proposing more outputs and so on, but it's not a problem of eligibility. And no, there is no co-financing required from the applicants. This grant will be paid at 100% rate. And then I don't get this, and I have a chat here from Patricia Vega del Rio saying, for example, with hellosign.com, I guess that this comes from another question. I will go back to it if I don't see another question that clarifies it. The proposal could be accepted from an association. No, this question is from Amin Mesaoud. No, this call for proposals is only open to MSMEs. So if it's an association like a non-profit association, it would not be eligible to receive funding under this call. Can we pitch in French or must it be in English? You can pitch in French in the French-speaking countries. So in Tunisia, Morocco, you can do your pitch in French. The rest will be done in English. But only, as Julia mentioned, this is only for the application phase. So you can do all your application in French, but please take into consideration that you will need to speak English in order to implement the grant. You will have to justify, like to report your project in English. You will have to attend the monitoring meetings in English. You will have to go to networking events, which will be organized in English. So yeah, please take this into consideration because otherwise there might be a problem at a later stage with it. Can I have a pages copy for iOS MacBook of the documents of application? I don't know really, like I cannot offer it to you because I don't have any iOS devices. I don't know if any of our partners could provide it. I will check it with the rest of the consortium.
In this case, maybe it's better if you just save it in PDF. Okay, because I don't think everyone could open the document if they don't have a Mac. Okay, so please, try to save it in a PDF, Word, or wherever, because otherwise, maybe the members of the jury could not open your application. Thank you, Maria.
Yes, as per the document, I think that you can download it in the Word version that is currently on the website, and you can just convert them online. Like it will be easy. You just type on Google converting from Word to whatever application you need, and it will be converted. Then when sending them, it would be better if you send them in PDF, as Christina said, so that everybody will be, or the evaluation committee, everybody will be able to open your file.
So yeah, that's it. So then we have a question from Zainab Bouahra. She's asking, hi, can we apply to this grant if we have already a European Union subvention? So here it depends on what is a subvention for. If you want more money for an activity that is already funded by the European Union, that is not possible. This has to be for a new activity. If you have one project that is funded by European Union and you want to develop a new one for another product or for, to address different needs, then you can apply as long as you have not received more than 200,000 euros of subvention in the last 2 years. So as long as you are not above the de minimis regulation. Is a question from Esra Yassin. Is this sub-grant support to implement incubator for startups that work on handmade products? No, we launched a call for incubation services last year. In this case, this call is to implement entrepreneurship projects. So we are funding creative entrepreneurs from the 6 countries of the Southern Mediterranean region that we are targeting. And this is for entrepreneurship projects, not for incubation, not for giving incubation to startups or anything like that. Then an anonymous attendee asks, could our proposal be an extension of service to another proposal being financed by another European program, meaning both proposals being realized simultaneously? Yeah, it really depends. Like if the activity that you're proposing is different from what you are doing through your other project, yeah, what you cannot do, for example, let's say that you have the CREACT4MED project and it is funded by the European Union and you're asking us for money to fund one of the activities within CREACT4MED. In that case, that is not possible. You need to do a new activity. But let's say, for example, that within CREACT4MED we have a collaboration with an American entity, and we want to launch a new project that builds on what has been done in CREACT4MED, but is a new project, then in this case, you would be able to use this grant. So mainly it has to be a new activity. It cannot be funding for an activity that you have been implementing for the previous year, for example. You have to show that the name of this activity or program or whatever it is that you will be doing has started after the signature of the Sukran agreement. Otherwise, it won't be eligible. Okay, a question from Mohamed El Beheri. If we are two co-founders, man and woman, can we apply one proposal, or what is best way to go through that? Yeah, of course, you can apply. We will be happy if both of you are co-founders, you can say that the entity is led by a woman because if it's the same level of implication, you can say that it's because it gives bonus points. So yeah, you can apply for the proposal. It's not a problem that there are two co-founders, of course. Then then the same person is asking, can I mark more than one choice? I don't know where you mean here. If you mean in the questions regarding whether the founder of the entity is a woman and is a young person, yes, you can mark more than one choice. Also in the priorities question, you can mark more than one choice. Otherwise, please clarify in the chat what did you mean by this question, like among which choices, and I will try to answer to your question. Then, can we work please on more? Yeah, can we work? So Tawa Hawari is asking if they can work in more than one lot, internationalization and digitalization, for example. Yeah, absolutely, it's not a problem. You can work on more than one of the priorities of the call. You just have to mark them with an X in the question and then describe in the proposal summary how you will be targeting these two priorities. Then if an anonymous attendee is asking if we are benefiting from another proposal in the same period, should it be mentioned in the de minimis declaration? Yeah, if you have already received the funding, yes, of course. I don't know because the term proposal confuses me a bit, but yes, if you have received funding for another project, you should indicate it in the de minimis declaration. Or if you have been awarded a grant for another project, even though you have not received yet the funds, you should also indicate it in the de minimis self-declaration. Then Usama Mandil is asking also if the pitch session can be in French or only in English. It can be both in French and English. Then Marua Chaweshi, sorry for all the mispronunciations of your surnames, is asking, is it okay if right now I don't have employees but planning to hire them in the future? It's not a problem. Yeah, it's not a problem. As long as the company is registered, it's not a problem that it's only you working on it. You can apply to the code, and you can also indicate if you expect to create new job positions during or after the implementation of the grant. You can also indicate it in the document, and it will be well seen. Then Amin Mesaoud is asking, again, the proposal could be accepted from an association. In this case, it has to be an MSME. I don't know the legal form of your association, but from here I understand that you're talking about a non-profit association. In this case, no, it would not be eligible. It has to be a company established in one of the target countries. Then an anonymous attendee is asking, when will we receive the certification of CREACT4MED training? As far as I know, it has already been sent. You don't have it yet. Like if you have participated and you don't have it, this certificate of attendance, please send an email to the CREACT4MED@euromed.economist.org email that is available on the webpage. Please send it to us, and we will just check it and send it to you as soon as possible. It was my understanding that these certificates of attendance had already been distributed among the participants that completed the training academy. Of course, as you know, you should have participated in 80% of the contents in order to receive the certificate of participation. Then another anonymous attendee is asking if the organization is registered in 2011, can you recommend another program to register in? We would have to see this. Please send us an email with this, and we will have to see if we can find any programs that are offering funds to entities in your situation. In this case, no, in CREACT4MED, we won't be able to offer funding to SMEs registered before 2012. Another anonymous attendee is asking if we will be sending the recording. We will be publishing it on the page where the call is published. We will try to send a thank you email to all of you that registered to this session, including the link to the recording. But otherwise, please check the page where this is published, and we will upload the recording of this session and also the presentation used. Then Basma Baidun is asking, we have a capacity building. Okay, this question was already answered before. So yeah, mainly if the activity already existed before, no, it is not eligible for this sub-grant. You should create a new project, a new training program, or something different that can be funded through the project. And then here, can you support marketing and advertising activities in our business? Yes, indeed, we can support them. This would be either, well, we have different budget lines for this. So you can, if you are working with an external provider, that would be under consulting services and training. If you're buying, for example, paying for a Facebook campaign or for a social media campaign, you can include that under other costs. And human resources, of course, are also eligible for this. So yeah, you can create an output that is related to the marketing and advertising activities, and you can assign a cost to it. It's not a problem. You have more information in general about the eligible activities and the types of activities that will be sub-granted in the guidelines for applicants. Please check that document because it really is very specific on the eligible activities and so on. So there an anonymous attendee is saying, hello, I don't fully understand the part of having revenue of 2,100 euros. So the organization is eligible. No, this is not the case. So it's actually the opposite. The thing is that in case you have received more than 200,000 euros from public money, so from a government agency, from the European Union, and so on, in the last 2 years, you are not eligible to receive more. So because this would affect the market and so on. So you are eligible only if you have received less than 200,000 euros in this type of funds. So funds like grants, public grants in general. And then here we have some questions from Ali Abu Awad. From the one of Culture, Design and Innovation in Lebanon. So I registered this CDI on the platform around a month ago, but it's still pending. Today we solved some issues with the platform and everyone has been accepted. Please let me know if any of you still have not received the confirmation, but right now we don't have anyone waiting in the waiting room of the platform. So please let me know if this is not the case. Evaluation and certificates of the CREACT4MED program are still pending to submit certificates. So this comes as a surprise. I will have a short call with our colleagues that were implementing the training academy just to see, because maybe it has to do with the fact that you did not complete the mandatory 80%, so you have not received the certificate. Let me check with them. I will let them know. I understand that it was you who participated in the training, so I will ask them why you didn't receive the certificate. Then this CDI is registered as a civil non-for-profit company. In other words, no revenue or yearly profit. We have been getting funded based on projects do we need to clarify that? Yeah, we would need to clarify that. Let me check it internally also with the team, because in principle it has to be, but it's a company. Let me check if this type of entity, so a civil not-for-profit company, is eligible. Please send me an email just saying this is the CDI, and I will reply to you as soon as possible. But yeah, in principle, and then the exchange rate for Lebanese lira is not even close to your website, to the real exchange in Lebanon, averaging €1. What do you mean in our website, on the Info-Euro website? Because they say that the exchange rate for Lebanese lira is not even close to the website that we are suggesting. I understand, to the real exchange in Lebanon, averaging €1 is 30,000 lira. Are we funded based on local currency or in euros? On your website, €1 is 1,700 lira. You are funded based on, like, you will be paid in euros, but your budget can be constructed in the Lebanese liras, and then just with the conversion rate. It is quite surprising that it's not the correct rate, because it's the rate used by the European Commission for all the programs. If you can, I don't know, if you can send me an email with the proof of this, I will just communicate it to the European Commission. But it's really surprising. This is not our website. Like, this is the official conversion rate to use for all the programs of the European Union. So it is quite surprising that there's such a big difference. Please send me an email with this, and I will just check it internally. And then Amit Mesaoud is saying, my company is registered before 2012, but we add a new subsidiary in the cultural activity after 2012. Are we eligible in our proposal? Will we for the subsidiary activity? Is there an entity registered for this subsidiary activity? If there is an entity registered, yeah, you can apply as this entity, so as a subsidiary. Otherwise, if it's just an initiative but it's not registered in the official registry, then you would not be eligible for funding under this call. And then we have a question from Zineb El Hsaini. Hello, I need to know if there is a specific program for training or funding nonprofit organization working in the art sector. Yes, we implemented the CREACT4MED Training Academy, in fact, in the previous, from May to July, and I can confirm that we will be implementing another cycle of this training academy in fall this year. So please stay alert, subscribe to our newsletter if you're not subscribed yet, and you will receive more information about this soon enough. And then there's not a question here. Then Aida Tahmouti is asking, can paying a freelance example to develop our product be considered as HR costs? No, not really. It has to be, HR is only for the staff that is legally hired by the applicant. So you need to have an employment contract with them, and then the freelance should be under consulting services and training, and there's a limit of €2,500 there. Amin Mesaoud is asking, okay, now I see the rest of, this is the same question as before, but with a clarification. So my company is registered before 2012, but we added a new subsidiary in the cultural activity registered in 2018. Are we eligible if our proposal will be for the subsidiary activity? Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, you would be eligible as long as it's registered. And is the company, like, it will also depend on whether the company is super big, like how many employees you have in the big company. But in principle, it won't be a problem. If it's registered, if the subsidiary is registered and it is an MSME, it is eligible for funding. Then Eman Elakat is asking, what is the email we will communicate or send any inquiry on? I will send, okay, Christina is right now answering to this. Okay, I lost the question. I will go here to respond to this. Okay, if you please send an email of the link of this recording after uploaded. Okay, yeah, we will, when we have uploaded this in the page, we will send an email to everyone that registered to this session, just indicating that it's been uploaded on the web page. And is it possible to have an Arabic copy of the guidelines for applicants? Unfortunately, we don't have it, but you may use a translator tool to translate these guidelines. Okay, so an anonymous attendee is asking, is there a specific implementation time we should respect in this subgrant? So the project is expected to start in October, November this year, and it should take a maximum of 8 months. So in case you have, it is a bit flexible. So in case you have a need to start the project for some reason in December, it's not a problem. It should for sure happen before the end of 2023. So yeah, let's say that it should happen within the time frame of October this year and the end of 2023. But in principle, we expect most of the projects to take place from October 2022 until May 2023 or something like that. So Aida Tahmouti is asking, what is included in the design software sector? Can you please give an example? There's a slash here, but I guess these are two different sectors. So the design sector is anything to do with design in general, graphic design, interior design, and so on. And the software sector can be any company working on software. For example, if you have developed a software for the management of music licenses, for example. So yeah, or if you have developed a software that allows you to see how the makeup would look in the face of someone, things like that. Then Mohamed El Beheri is asking, for the question, we attended the CREACT4MED and other programs. Can we mark the both choices? Yeah, not a problem. It will adapt. So if you have participated, for example, in the CREACT4MED training and also you participated in Minasa's incubation program, you can take both of them. It's not a problem at all. Can HR costs include CEO salary if the CEO is a co-founder? I would say yes right now, but I will need to check it with the managing authority because I am not completely certain, but it sounds fair. Let me check it, and we will publish also these questions and answers on the website. So you will have there the answer, the final answer. If you prefer, Aida, you can send me an email, so I will directly answer to you as soon as I have the answer. I would say yes. I don't think there should be a problem, but let me validate it. Then Zineb El-Hassani is asking the same question as before. I need to know if there is a specific program for training or funding non-profit organization working in the art sector. We have the CREACT4MED Training Academy, which is implemented by us, and also the incubators that we are working with. So we are working with 6 incubators from each of the target countries, are implementing some programs. I don't know if there's anything very specific for non-profit organizations working on the arts sector, but yeah, we have the Training Academy, which is mainly on entrepreneurship in the cultural and creative industries. So Jamal Bakir is asking, social inclusion is in engaging in work, or it can be also in the topics work done inside the projects? It can be also in the projects work done inside the project. So it's not an issue. If your project is working on social inclusion, if your project is tackling the social inclusion issues, it is eligible under this priority. Can we participate with 2 different proposals? No, not really. You have to submit only one proposal. In case an applicant submits more than one proposal and both of them are completed, the last proposal submitted will be taken as the one that will be evaluated. So please only send one proposal. You can add different priorities in your proposal, respecting the maximum budget of 15,000 euros, but only one proposal per applicant. There we have Khalil Arafan, who is saying, thanks for this very informative session. Here is my situation currently. I have mostly two more questions. Currently working on a video game project still in production and financed by the French Agency of Development. Since it's also you funded at the end of the day, I was wondering if that would disqualify. So again, it depends on what you want to do with the grant. So if you are developing new features that are not included in the proposal that you submitted to the French Agency of Development, you can receive this funding. What you cannot do is to say, if your proposal to the French Agency of Development was, I will develop this video game with these features, to just say that you will do the same with our grant. That is not possible. You should add a new component to the proposal. Like, you should develop something new. You should say, okay, well, now, for example, maybe you are developing this and you want to create the go-to-market strategy with our grant. That would be possible, but we cannot fund the same activity that is already funded by another donor. Then we have a question from an anonymous attendee asking, the local pitch will be online or in the incubator's office? It will be online. So all the local pitches will be online. Then Khalil Arafan is asking, or is it okay as long as we are under the minimis? So I guess this has to do with the previous question. Yeah. So the de minimis rule is one thing. So you cannot have received more than 200,000 euros in public money in the last year. But the thing is, you cannot fund an activity that is already funded. So if you are creating a new activity that is related to the previous activity, but is a new activity, that's possible. If you are just asking, again, the same example as before, right now, CREACT4MED is funded by the European Union. I cannot go to another entity and ask them for more money to implement CREACT4MED because it is already funded by the European Union. What I could do is to say, okay, I want to have a second stage of CREACT4MED. I want to do it with new partners, I want to do something different and ask for this money to another donor. But in case the proposal is already funded, so let's say the title of the activity, if your project is called whatever, you cannot ask for the same project through this grant. You should do something different, something new. And then also from Khalil Arafan, what does action mean in this context? As I am the main programmer and many tasks ahead, for example, does each feature count as an action, or is that whole project still ongoing, considered something as past action and need a new project? Thanks. Hope I managed to convey my questions. Sorry, I'm rereading the question just to make sure that I understand. That whole project. So, basically, an action is the whole project. So when you receive the money from the other donor, you should have described your proposal. So you said, I will do this, I will do that, and I will do that. If what you're going to present is related or is the same as what you already presented, that is not an option. What you can do is to have something new. For example, maybe in your previous proposal, you worked on the go-to-market strategy, you worked on prototyping your product, and you worked on other aspects of the project. And you left some aspects not attended. So now you could potentially ask us to help you internationalize your product or to help you identify the right partners for developing something that was not considered in the previous action that you got funding for. Sorry if it's confusing. I'm just really trying to answer to this question, but yeah, mainly it has to be something that you have not done and that you have not received any funding for previously. If you already received funding for this activity, it's not eligible and there are call for proposals. If you are proposing something new within the same product, it is possible. Maruwa Chawachi is asking if ever the main percentage of grant is going to be used in fitting and equipment of the project, is it that as qualifying criteria? Yeah, it is. So the project cannot be based on the acquisition of raw materials or equipment. It's something that is like you have up to 2,500 euros to purchase this type of equipment and raw materials, but this cannot be the focus of the project. So really, like, in fact, it is already in the rules and definitions of the proposal outline document, and also in the guidelines for applicants, it is mentioned that you cannot base this project on the acquisition of equipment and raw materials. It has to be a project, and maybe you will need some raw materials or equipment for it, but the outputs in the end cannot be, I have a new computer or I have a new library. It has to be something that you have developed through the project. And then, all good, thanks. What I meant was indeed what I can apply for. I guess developing for Xbox is new versus previous funding to go for Nintendo. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely. So yeah, that is a much better example than the ones I was trying to use. So thank you for that, Khalid. I think these are all the questions. Did I miss anything? Julia or Christina, I think you were also checking them.
I don't think so. I was going through the question with you, and I think you answered them all. Anyhow,
Okay.
I wrote in the chat, like, if any questions might arise in the next days, you can email us. The email is in the chat. Basically, it's CREACT4MED at Euromed economists.org. So you can send questions there, whatever you want to ask. Please be aware that we can guarantee an answer to your question until 14th of August. So make sure to read the documents before, to go through them, and then if you have questions, please ask them before August 14th.
Okay, if you have any other questions, like if I missed to answer to any of your questions, you have, I will be here for a couple more minutes now. Otherwise, we will finish the session here. And as Julia mentioned, please feel free to send us your questions and comments to the CREACT4MED email account, and we will be answering them at least until the 14th of August. But if you send them a bit later, we will try. We cannot commit, but we will also try to answer to them. Okay, I see that Salma Abdelghani said that she couldn't attend, and how can I get the recorded session? We will be uploading it on the webpage, Salwa, so please, we will send an email to everyone that registered to this session indicating when the recording is uploaded, and also we will be uploading the presentations on the page where this call for proposals is published. Okay, so thank you all very, very much for attending this session. We hope it was informative and it helped you clarify your questions about the goal and understand a bit better which are the objectives and priorities for it. It was a pleasure to give this session to you. Thank you very much also Christina and Julia for dealing with the presentations and with the questions. And yeah, that's it. We are at your disposal for questions and at least until the 14th of August. And we will also try to get some of the answers that we could not really confirm. We will try to get them as soon as possible, and we will add them in the frequently asked questions that will also be published on the webpage probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Maria, for your presentation. And nothing.
Thank you very much.
Wish you good luck for your application.